Well, Marva, hope you had a great weekend, and we're happy you're spending the beginning of your week with us here on Coast Life. We're your hosts. I'm Paige Marley.
I'm Leah Rizzo, and maybe you did a few chores over the weekend.
Yeah.
If you did, hey, you're in pretty good shape, because it seems like most people apparently consider if they complete one task over the weekend as a successful weekend.
I think I fall into that category.
I think I fall into that category too.
Yeah.
Did you complete any tasks over the weekend?
No. Actually, truthfully, I'm trying to think. I mean, I had a fun weekend. I went to a comedy show on Friday. I went to a concert on Saturday. I made my bed, and that's going to count as my task.
There you
I know
go.
It's not a big one, but it counts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sunday, I watched some football. That's it. What about you? Did you complete anything?
I was up early because my man works the morning shift on Sunday, so I was like, I'll get up with you.
There you go.
And then I went to the store. Nice and early. I got that out of the way. I cleaned. I was like, oh, so I got the day free. So I did have a surprisingly productive weekend.
The store counts as a task, in my opinion. If you got your grocery shopping done for the week, then you're good. That was a task, and you can go home and chill out.
That's a task for sure. I hate going to the grocery store. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just because, like, on the heels of how it was 3 years ago, that like the store was just so stressful that now I get like pre-stressed going to the store, or if it's just because I don't really like crowds, and also if you try to go at the same time as like the football crowd and you're like, oh God, it's so bad.
That's a great point. Sunday used to be like coffee, church, grocery store, and no one was there, and then I could just chill before everyone else got there, and now the football people, they're taking over after church.
Yep.
They're all there.
That's right. Everybody's got to get their stuff in before the game.
And I'm that person that's like, why is everyone here? Like, you know, I'm there. You know, like everyone else, go home.
I do. I'm like, I want to go either really, really late at night or like first thing in the morning, and it's me and like the other early birds that are out there. And I'm like, I'm sure they're like, we've never seen you before.
Right. They all have their groups.
Right.
Their grocery store groups. Well, if you completed one task, we're proud of you. If you did nothing, if you just relaxed, then I'm also proud. You deserved it.
Yeah, maybe you went to Zombie Fest. That counts as a task.
Definitely. Yes.
It was crowded, we hear. Yes. I wish I could have gone. I'm bummed that I missed it. But if you're in the same boat as we are and you did miss it, take a look at this. That's not the only fun thing that was going on around town this weekend. If you got a chance to check out Shellville, their Harvest Fest was going on. Yes. If you haven't seen it for the fall, it's adorable. I mean, you know, you're thinking Christmas Village, all this, but they've got it all decked out for the Halloween spookies and the fall fun. On not a weekend or football related note, this is something we were just kind of talking about downstairs that we thought was interesting. And this is more on, I guess, for the parents out there, and something that I have never really been sure on where I land on this topic of conversation, because like I've had, you know, coworkers with kids around my age, usually a little bit younger, and they're like, what would you do? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not a parent. Why are you asking me?
Right.
But when it comes to like tracking your kids on their phones, it seems like obviously a lot of parents are doing it because the technology is there, whether you're, you know, tracking them through Google or Apple or Snapchat, however it is that you're keeping track of your probably your teenagers mostly, but kids of any age really these days. And a lot of kids actually seem to not mind it. They're glad that their parents are kind of monitoring their every move.
It is. I think so. Before there was like the tracking apps and everything, I do remember a friend of mine, her parents put like a tracker on her car. So I can understand why a teenager would think that is so invasive and blah blah blah, but she didn't know. And now that there's tracking apps, I'm 26, almost 27. My parents have my location. I have their location. I have my siblings' locations. My best friend has my location. I think it's just cool now, especially with the Find My Friends. I think people are smarter now about the dangers when you go out alone, or I mean, just anything. If you live alone, you just want someone to know your last location. So I'm not against it at all.
No, I'm not against it. I guess I just always wanted to make sure that it feels like respect is a two-way street. And I've always felt that way, even between parents and their kids. Like, I think it's just parents, I think a lot of times demand that respect because they're your parents. And so therefore they're like, oh, I have the right to everything that you own. And like, yes, but not at the cost of your future relationships at some point with your kids.
I agree with you. I do think I'm a little more this way. Like, I do think, like, you should demand that respect, and like the kid should give it to you. Like, I don't think the kid needs to have your location. I only have my parents because we're all adults, and now I'm like, Mom, did you get there safely? You know?
Yeah.
But, I think as long as the parent maybe tells their kid.
It should be a conversation.
Yeah,
That's what,
it
like, I think
should
if you're
be,
sneaky about it, if you're weird about it, and all, like, it does feel. I don't know. I guess I could be sympathetic towards teenagers that feel like their privacy has been violated, or that they're, they don't feel that they are respected. And I think you give your teens maybe a chance to earn that respect. And give them a chance to lose that respect. But if you don't give them that chance at all, then like they're also not learning either.
That's right. They do have to learn. That makes sense. So yeah, maybe it's a good idea. And again, what do we know? We're not parents, but as previous teenagers, not that long ago, although it was kind of. Yeah, maybe if you could explain in a good way that, like, look, this is for your safety, and this is what can happen. I actually know someone who, unfortunately, her life would have been saved if her friends had her location. She didn't share it. She got into a bad accident. So not to scare anybody, it's just a good conversation to have.
It is safety, and I think like the more, obviously the more true crime I've consumed, and just like the more that you really do think about it in the event of like an accident or something like that, even though maybe you can't necessarily do anything with that information right away, just knowing where the people in your life are at any given time it's important, and it is good to know.
I think so. It's a sketchy world out there. So yeah, it's just being honest, and it's not an attack on you teenagers.
Oh,
I never felt that way. I totally felt that way at first, and now, like I said, I love it. I'm glad everyone knows where I am at all times.
Yeah, but it seems like teens are pretty receptive to it.
Yeah. As long as this person you trust knows where you are at all times.
Very true. Well, one thing you can trust is that we've got a great show headed your way. Coming up on Coast Life, we are taking a trip to Creative Concepts to see what the future of your house could look like.
That's right, and we're talking about blow drying your hair. Are you concerned about it all? Do you not know if you should? If you shouldn't, Rehoboth Beauty Boutique has those answers for you.
All that and more is headed your way with more Coast Life.
Coast Life is brought to you by BB Healthcare, Coastal Comfort Heating and Air Conditioning, Preston Automotive Group, Shell Brothers, and the Parker Group.
You know, Leah, something I love about not just Coast Life, but our community is when people share their stories and people can relate to them, because so many times the community comes together and we really support each other. So we're very happy today to introduce you to a lovely lady on the Coast Life couch. We have Joyce Prater with us today. Joyce, you're going to be sharing your story with us, and also why the Southern Delaware Heart Walk means so much to you. But first, I just want to thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Of course.
As I said, I live very close, so you're like my neighbors.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we love having our neighbors in studio.
Yes, definitely. So you're going to talk to us today about the Southern Delaware Heart Walk. But first, if you don't mind just sharing your story, why heart health and research is so important to you.
Well, unfortunately, I lost my husband of 46 years 2.5 years ago, and he passed having a sudden cardiac event. We were actually traveling from our home in Florida to our home in Milton. And it wasn't anything that could have been predicted, or it wasn't expected. It was so sudden. And it just put me in the mood that I don't know what to do now. What do I do? So of course, like most people, I got on the internet. I Googled sudden heart events, and it came up page after page after page of information either provided for, published by, or funded by the American Heart Association. Now, I'd heard of the American Heart Association, but didn't know much about it. And I started looking into, my husband had a family history of cardiac heart disease, and he was very proactive with his health. He saw a cardiologist yearly, had his EKGs done, physicals. He was given a clean bill of health a week before we traveled.
Oh my gosh.
He was active. He played in golf leagues in Florida and up here. He played golf at least 2, maybe 3 times a week. Played pickleball. And during the pandemic, he decided he was going to start riding a bike. And he got really into it. He was riding 3 days a week, 20 miles a day. Wow. So it wasn't a guy that was sitting on the couch. He was what they would say a picture of health.
Thank you for sharing that story. I know that's difficult, but unfortunately, I think other people can relate to that.
Well, this is one reason we're trying to raise money for the American Heart Association so they can do more research. And maybe someday there'll be a test or something that can predict who is susceptible to this type of event. So I was talking to my children when I found the Heart Walk, and I said, I'm going to sign up, I'm going to make a donation, and I'm going to walk on this Sunday. And the next thing I know, we have a team of 10. And of course, it was a no-brainer. It's Team Bob.
I mean, I know it's the Southern Delaware Heart Walk, but you've actually had global support.
We did. I had never been on Facebook, so I started a Team Bob Facebook page. And in order to try to get more of my friends that were nationwide involved, to make them realize you don't have to be in Rehoboth. You don't have to be here to walk with us. You can do what we were calling a virtual walk, which just make a sign and tell me you're walking with Team Bob. And I had a friend who was in Hawaii and she was sending pictures, and I texted her and I said, would you mind making a sign and take a short walk for Team Bob? Within a minute, she's texting me, right on it, I'll be glad to do it. Aww. Within 5 minutes, she sent me a beautiful sign and she's out for her walk. Aww. And that just made me realize that my family is not the only one that wants to remember Bob and wants to help. So from there, we got participation. Geez, we had friends in Chicago. They walked 16 miles in 3 days. And I'm like, you don't have to do that. You can walk down your driveway and back.
Yeah.
So we had participation from Chicago, New York, all down the East Coast, Wilmington, Rehoboth, Lewis, Cape May, Charleston. Our friends in Florida actually walked on the beach and they had their own Team Bob shirts made.
Oh, that's great.
And then we also had participation from London and Grand Cayman. So we had a lot of signs out there.
Yeah.
And I think it brought the interest in, and it did bring donations in, and that was our whole goal.
So if people want to donate to Team Bob, because we're Team Bob,
Yeah,
and I know people watching are Team Bob now too, so how can they make those donations?
You go on to www.2.heart.org, and you'll see the teams, and you just put in Team Bob. My name appears there because I think I'm the third or fourth highest earner so far this year.
Nice.
So you can click on either just Team Bob or on me and make a donation. And if you'd like to come out, if you want to join Team Bob, if you want to support us, just come out.
Yeah. So when is the walk for people who want to join?
It's November 5th. I believe it's 9 o'clock at the bandstand in Rehoboth.
Perfect. Okay, sounds good. Or if you're not going to be in Rehoboth, like she said,
do a virtual
when
walk.
you walk your dog, you know, just think of Bob and think of the donations you can make. And we'll put that website on our website as well, so you can find it easy. That's coastlife.com. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing your story as well.
Thank you for letting me share my story.
Of course.
Of course. So get to walking, get to donating. You can do all that right now. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with more Coast Life.
You're watching Coast Life, and guys, welcome to the home of your dreams. We're at Shell Brothers Bluebell home model right at the Peninsula. So guys, let's go take a look inside.
So we put together a lot of information from all the buyers that we've seen over the last few years here, but not just in this neighborhood, but regionally. And we saw a lot of homeowners wanting to have their everything for themselves on the first floor of the house. And that's what we've provided for them with this home. Now, with this at home as well is we can add a second floor, we can add a basement. So if we do want that multi-level home, we can provide that with this home. So now that we're in the kitchen, we have some really wonderful options that I'd like to point out. This is what we call our professional kitchen. First thing is the command center. We have this beautiful, beautiful island providing you with tons of workspace as well as an eat-in kitchen opportunity. So another really neat feature of this home, and this kitchen specifically, is the option to have double wall ovens. This one has a really neat French door at the top, and then your more traditional on the bottom. Usually we use one for warming and one for baking. The last thing that I'd like to mention is the amount of cabinetry that's in this kitchen. It is absolutely wonderful. There is storage for any and everything that you could possibly imagine, as well as some practical options like big slide outs. When you think about cooking and you have your big sauce pots and things like that, having these accessible right here below your range. Little practical options like that that we've thought about, they just make life a little bit easier.
So we are currently inside of the living room of the Bluebell home model.
Yes.
All right, so tell me, if a person is looking at this model, can they get the whole thing, or is it more just like a personalized experience for their future home?
So both of those options are absolutely possible for our potential home buyers. You could have everything that model has, or you could really personalize it to be the right home for you. Now, what I mean by that is it could be as drastic of not adding the second floor.
Wow.
You could have just the first floor. You could have the first floor in the basement, or the first floor and the second floor. So every option is yours to choose, whether you have a fireplace or whether you have this spectacular wet bar in the great room. These are all decisions for you and your family to decide on and decide what's best for you guys.
So I was looking around this living room and it is definitely unique. So tell me a little bit about the things that are going on in here.
Yeah, so the space is standard from our normal included plan. This is not something that's been optioned or upgraded in size or space, but what we have added are things like the fireplace and the wet bar and the recessed lighting.
All right, so let's go check out this bedroom. I love the way it looks. Connected bathroom, guys. So let's go take a look inside.
So with this bedroom, again, we have a lot of personalization that you can choose from. But one of the standards is going to be this gorgeous tray ceiling. And then what you can see, what we've added to that standard is some of this molding. We have a standard transom window above the bed, and then your optional windows on the side. Some people want a little darker room, some people want a little brighter room. We leave that to your personalization.
All right, Tyler, so you're leading me to the second floor of the home. What are some things that really pop out when you come here?
So like I was saying before, the second floor of this house is actually an option all in and of itself. So we have the option as buyers to really personalize it how it works for you, whether it's 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom, 2 bathrooms, or none of those. So the second floor, what really jumps out to me is its ability to be personalized to fit so many families' needs. Maybe it's not even here.
All right, guys, so we have came to the conclusion of our tour. So we are in the basement. A lot of people wish they had a basement. Do you see a lot of people asking for this specifically?
Yes, with a lot of our customers coming from areas where they're just used to having that basement, and wherever that place may be. But it's always the hub for them for their social life and their recreation. And here in our basement, we have really put our best foot forward trying to create that really incredible recreation space.
So thank you so much, Tyler, for giving us this tour and showing us your location.
It's been my pleasure, Maya. Thank you so much for coming out to visit.
No problem. All right, guys, so it is the end of the tour, but as you heard from Tyler, it's as simple as a request to get any of these beautiful amenities or even rooms. So there's more Coast Life coming up right after the break.
This segment of Coast Life was brought to you by Shell Brothers.
Watching Coast Life, and whether your whole house needs a little bit of a makeover or maybe it's just a room, no matter the scale of the project, the folks at Creative Concepts in Ocean View and Lewis have a plan for you to make your home your dream home. So let's get inside. For 50 years, Creative Concepts has been serving Delmarva with beautiful, unique furniture, designs, and finishing touches to make your house the home of your dreams.
We've always offered complimentary design services, which now is kind of an everyday slogan for most people in our industry. I think what sets us apart is the quality of our design services. Our design staff has been here for upwards of 10 and some 30 years, which in this industry is quite an accomplishment.
At Creative Concepts, you're not just another sale to be made.
We base this operation on no gimmicks, low pressure, friendly atmosphere, and great service to go along with it.
Craig Lednam may be president of Creative Concepts, but he knows it's teamwork that's made them shine for the last 50 years.
Between the office team, the service team, the delivery team, is what it takes to really complete, a pleasant experience for our customer.
You can also count on a respectful experience.
One of the other things we recognize is we believe in people and we respect people, whether they are our clients or whether they are part of our team. And it's so simple and so obvious, but it's an important part of who we are.
Whether you're looking for a sofa or a more involved remodel, designers like Eileen and Robin are ready and excited to help you create your ideal room.
We have several featured here in the showroom, one of which is the Whistler sofa, which is up front, and hundreds of beautiful fabrics to choose from. It's a great piece in that it can go from contemporary or traditional decor, work well with each. And of one fun little aspect is you can change the stitching on the body and customize the color of the stitching and have fun with it.
Another item we have is the Kent sofa. It does standard sofa where you can come in, you can pick your arm, your height of your back, the depth of your seat, hundreds of fabrics, so it really designs for you and your family.
So what will you find on Creative Concepts Showroom?
They can come here from nuts to bolts. It's the full selection, so they can do dining, they can do rugs, they can do wallpaper, upholstery, any type of case good throughout the whole space.
The team at Creative Concepts loves what they do, and their designers love helping you find your way to your dream home.
I find it very exciting to have a client come in and they definitely have the glazed over look and completely overwhelmed. And once you sit them down and start talking to them and let them know we're here for you, we're going to hold your hand through the process. We'll explain everything, we'll have it all laid out for you. You can see their expression go, okay, I can do this.
And really, one of the best parts of this job, I find, is just the personal connections that you make with someone, you know, that walks in the door, a stranger, and by the end of the process, many times they're, you know, like family.
A seemingly small change that has a large impact on the look of your home are window treatments.
Shutters and blinds can change the whole outlook of the house from being a basic blah home to designer showcase home, and the shutters can really do that in a major way.
In addition to shutters and blinds, the Hunter Douglas line also has vignettes to give your home a luxury feel.
Vignettes are what's behind me. They're like a Roman shade. It's a newer look for a Roman shade. It's flatter looking. It doesn't have the fluff and puff like an old Roman shade did and everything. So it's a really nice look. It comes actually in fabrics and it comes in a woven woods, which are nice looks too.
If drapery is more your style, Creative Concepts has a wide variety of choices and the ability to install, so you don't have to worry about any part of the process.
Draperies to me are sort of the final accessory to complete the room. They add a lot of texture and dimension to a room. We can use them to complement some of the Hunter Douglas window treatments. There's a full line. We have hundreds of fabrics to choose from. We also have drapery hardware that we could choose from. And we have an in-house workroom.
Starting the design process can be a little intimidating, but the team at Creative Concepts will walk you through every step.
Typically, we will have them come in and we'll sit down and look at a plan of if they want to do one room, the whole house, and just kind of start with, you know, do we need to go and do cabinet selections, or are we basically just going off the floor plan and adding furniture, window treatments, etc.?
We talk to them, we start conversation, and we figure out what the scope of their project is and how much they need us to participate with that.
Of course, with big projects comes timelines and budgets.
We're very respectful of budgets, so we begin that conversation in the very beginning where they want to be, because it's the real world. All of this is expensive, but it's also an investment. So what we do is we break it down to where we know, to put the money in different areas. We know where to generate more funds and we know where to generate maybe less funds. So we will help them with all of this. And then as far as timelines, we're very upfront. Most manufacturers, not all, but most manufacturers are back to pre-pandemic levels, time deliveries and things like that. But we'll work through those with them to maybe not go in this direction, but maybe go in this direction if they need something for immediate delivery.
This segment of Coast Life was brought to you by Creative Concepts.
Leah, I'm going to ask you a personal question.
Oh no.
Do you air dry or blow dry your hair?
Ooh, more often than not I air dry because I'm lazy.
Same. Well, you have that naturally curly, wavy hair.
Hard to deal with.
That we just can't
We
figure
love.
out. We love it, it's gorge. But a lot of people deal with that. So I'm not an expert in this. Are you? I don't think you're an expert in blow
Nope,
drying.
last time I checked.
That's right. But you could be doing some things with your hair when it comes to blow drying or letting it air dry. That's wrong. It could be doing more damage. It could even be causing mold and mildew.
No.
I know you don't want to hear it. I know. So we're going to let our friends at Rehoboth Beauty Boutique explain. They have all the yeses and nos when it comes to blow drying your hair. Check this out. Hold on, before you even turn on your blow dryer, you need
a good product. You want a good foundation product, a styling cream, an oil, anything to really help with that foundation. For the blow dry, you want a good start for that.
Not all hair is the same. The hair type and the hair texture makes a big difference.
When you have curly hair, I would advise you not to start blow drying right away. I would let your products develop a cast on your hair first so that you're not displacing all that frizz and making it worse. If you have fine hair, I would say that you'll want to get your root lift product on and blow dry right away to get that lift put in there, because you have to force a lift into fine hair and use a support product to keep it there. And when your hair is wet, it's more workable to be able to get it to do what you want it to do.
We've all been guilty of it, going to bed with wet hair, but it's not always a bad thing.
If you think it stays wet too long, that's the only reason you should not go to bed with wet hair. I also go to bed with wet hair, but I typically will schedule it to where I wash my hair about 6 or 7 so that it's about 80% dry when I go to bed, so that it's not sopping wet the whole night, because the more you're laying still, you're not going to get that airflow in there and it'll stay wet even longer, which again is not good for your hair. So one thing you shouldn't do is pull your hair back wet, because that will encourage mold and mildew to grow in your hair, and that is not healthy. Also, keeping it wet for that long will dry out your hair, because when your hair is wet for too long, it actually has the opposite effect and it's drying. Just like when you're swimming in the pool for a long time, your skin dries out. Same with hair. You can't let it stay wet for too long.
The same way not all hair is the same, not all blow dryers are the same. A recently popular pick is this blow dry brush.
I do recommend these. Again, you want to dry your hair about 80% first, get the moisture out, because you don't want any of the heat to burn your hair, damage your hair. These are really good for people with thick hair, people with textured hair. It'll get it nice and smooth, get you some volume. You want to blow dry your hair upwards to get the volume with this, and you can get really close to the roots. So
what tools and products that you use are always going to depend upon your hair texture, type, and desired look. So like curly haired people, I think less is more. The less you do to it, the better. So keep it nice and clean, wash it a couple times a week, put some curl cream, leave-in conditioner, lightweight gel in there to help support your curls. If you want a more polished look on your hair, then I recommend getting some of the moisture out before you start working it with a brush and blow dryer, because that'll reduce the amount of stress that you put on your hair. And also I recommend using a protective product, like a heat styling product, some type of leave-in conditioner to replace the fact that you washed it and stripped out some of the good things in there, and just using good products altogether. So I really feel strongly about making sure the client is informed on how to keep their style for every day, because they represent you walking around in the world. If they don't look good, then you don't look good. So I make sure that my clients know exactly what they need to do to recreate that look at home. And I also try to be very mindful of not giving someone too much homework. Like, I don't want to give someone a style that they're gonna have to put a lot of effort into it. My goal is to figure out what to do with your natural texture and how to make that look its best, so that you're not having to force it into another style that we're just enhancing what you already have.
And don't forget, if you're getting a new haircut with them, or really if you just have any questions, consultations at Rehoboth Beauty Boutique are free.
Yes, I need to go back there and get my bangs trimmed.
Same, yeah. Jonava said, Paige, you're due. I'm like, I know. So we'll be going back there.
Yes, we will.
Pretty soon. So don't forget, they are in Rehoboth Beach. They're on Rehoboth Avenue, free parking, all that good stuff. So
all that good
can't hurt to stop in.
A golf course surrounded by wildlife and fascinating views of the Cinepluxon Bay and Assateague Island is none other than Eagles Landing in Berlin. Golf professional Bob Kroll encourages golfers of all levels to come out and participate in the sport.
Anybody's welcome to come. We're open to the public. So when I say playable to all levels, is we have 5 sets of tees, or starting points, that make the course play different lengths or different distances. Obviously, the longest distance is more challenging than a shorter distance. So, we have tees set as close as 4,900 yards and as long as 7,000 yards.
As you enjoy practicing and improving your skills, you can't miss the picturesque views on and off the course.
Very scenic, let's say, with the wildlife and everything. And when you get onto some of the holes across the road from here, which is basically our holes 7 through 18, there's lots of views of the Cinepluxon Bay. You can see Assateague Island. it's really beautiful over there because it's the kind of scenery people come to this area for. You know, it's the coastal kind of the thing that you don't see everywhere else. You know, the ocean's like probably like quarter mile from here.
For those who enjoy being surrounded by nature, Eagles Landing is maintained to promote wildlife that resides in the area.
That's one of the great things that people will experience when they're here because they are right in the middle of nature. And we maintain the course in a way to help promote, you know, the habitat of the local wildlife, so a lot of it kind of hangs in this area.
For players who desire more of a challenge, the course saves the best for last, as their signature 18th hole, also known as the Beast of the East, will test your golfing skills.
A lot of people talk about it when they're done because it's not an easy hole, hence the name Beast, you know. But it's out there in the marshlands, completely surrounded by marsh. So if you're off the fairway by a little bit, your ball is basically lost. So that makes that whole play much more challenging. Those golfers who are watching this understand, and many of them have probably played it, and they might have another name for it.
Locals are in for a special treat, as the golf course has a program exclusively for local residents.
You know, the 4 surrounding counties, which would include Sussex County and Delaware, and the 3 lower shore counties in Maryland. If you're a resident, full-time resident, you qualify to get discounted rates. And it's not just the rate, it's also a rewards program. So you can sign, you know, locals can come in, get one of our rewards cards, show it when they play, and receive rewards points, not just a discount, and they can earn free golf, basically.
Known as Ocean City's golf destination, Bob tells us the perfect times of the year to plan your next golf experience.
Basically runs about in the middle of March, it kind of starts ramping up, and it'll go all the way until about the middle of November. Not to say visitors don't come at other times, but that is the time of year where the courses are pretty busy all the time.
Children can also participate in the fun with the course's junior golf camps.
Through the Recreation and Parks Department, we do a spring golf clinic, and we run 2 junior golf camps. And those are 4-day camps, and we have 1 week at the end of June, and then 1 week around the middle of July.
If you're interested in making Eagles Landing your next golf destination, Bob says the best way to guarantee a spot on the course is through their tee times.
The reason we do that, the reason we make tee times, because it is very busy out here. This time of year especially, I would say April through October is our peak season. To call ahead to make a reservation or go on our website to book a tee time, you can do either one, the same availability either way, because that'll guarantee you to have a spot to start.
Discover Eagles Landing for your next round of golf, a pure golf experience.
Picture it, a crisp autumn morning, that cool weather that makes you just want to snuggle up with a cozy cup of tea. Well, you can find the perfect tea for whatever your mood is at the Spice and Tea Exchange on Rehoboth Avenue in Rehoboth, Delaware. And here with me is Shannon, or I guess rather I'm with you.
Yes.
And you guys have your autumn display. So we're getting into cozy weather. Everybody wants to enjoy a warm beverage.
Yes.
So tell me about some of the teas that you have for the season.
Okay, well, our big seller right now is anything pumpkin. So we are featuring a pumpkin chai latte, which is a black tea for us. So that's going to have a higher caffeine level, but of course that wonderful pumpkin flavor that everyone is looking for this time of the year. We have a whipped honey. We have candles that smell wonderful. Give that a smell.
Heavenly.
Yes, pumpkin pie sugar. So all things pumpkin in this area. Right behind you, we have some Cider House Blend, which is another real great favorite of our customer base as well as our employees. Cider House Blend is an herbal blend, so you're going to get all the benefits of some really great healthy ingredients, no caffeine. We also have a cranberry apple honey as well as sugars to go with those as also.
Yes, and that pumpkin spice chai one, I know you guys have sent us our Spice and Tea, sponsors our Spill the Tea segment, as you know, so we always like to sample some of the teas there. We've tried that one, Paige and I, delicious, perfect for fall. Something else that we tried that you guys sent us that we really weren't sure what to expect with, so we were a little nervous, but we ended up loving it, was one of the mushroom teas.
We do have 2 different mushroom teas that we're featuring right now. One is our mocha mushroom, and it has the reishi mushroom, the maitake mushroom, and that is really great health benefits. So whether you're suffering from inflammation or even blood sugar, blood pressure, it actually really helps control those sort of challenges that you might have, as well as the mocha flavor, so it has a nice chocolatey type of taste to it. And then we have our Chillax Chaga Chai, which does exactly that, helps you chillax.
Yeah.
So it's really good for anxiety. It has the chaga mushroom in there, but you hear a lot of information about the benefits of mushroom, whether it's hair care, skin care, body care. You see a lot of coffees out there. We also have tea options here.
One of the things I love about this store, the customer service is phenomenal. I mean, you guys really know your stuff, and you welcome everybody as soon as you walk through the door. But just like you had me do when you open those jars, you can really interact with a lot of the stuff that's in the store, and you normally tend to know, like, if it smells nice, it's going to taste good too. So I love that you kind of let customers interact.
It's important to us because you know, we have sealed packaging, of course, so we want to make sure that they can smell and feel the aromas of the products, as well as go over any key ingredients that we might want to feature as well.
Perfect. Well, you mentioned that we're going to be able to taste some of the tea.
We are.
So we're going to get ready to do just that.
Okay.
Sometimes we say, oh, our job is so hard, but today is not one of those days because we get to do a little taste testing, one of my favorite things at the Spice and Tea Exchange. So what's the tea that you've poured for us?
This is our cider house blend that we showed earlier. So one of our colleagues, Kyle, brewed this up for you fine folks.
And it's beautiful. That's one of the things that I love about the loose leaf teas as opposed to the bag teas, is that it puts on a little show when you brew it. I mean, it really does. There's so much to see, and these clear infusers that you guys have. We do. You've got every accessory for tea lovers.
We do. This is a nice one. It's obviously brews a larger quantity. We have other smaller ones. Many different mug options, as you see here.
Yes, these are beautiful.
This is our dragon mugs. This is the dark brown. We have a rust color as well. Would you like to take a little taste?
Yes. Let's take a taste. Cheers, my friend.
Nice by itself, but we have
really nice.
We have honeys. Cranberry apple is a nice one that you could add to that. We also have apple crisp sugar that you could add to this, and we have cute little infusers of lots of different animals to choose from, and some messaging as well. But so we have, you know, all your tea needs, of course. We have a black tea set, we have a green tea and an herbal tea set with lots of different tea options, as well as sugars and infusers in them. We have like a recipe sort of gift set that has the recipe on the back of the card, as well as all your supplies in here. We are featuring a new item we just brought in that is a maple syrup. This particular one is a bourbon flavor, and it's just flying out the door. Anything bourbon, everyone loves. But for this one, we have like a little even recipe for old fashioned, but which leads me into our other recipes. We have several recipes available, and we can help our guests find the spices or teas to go with the recipes, so there's lots of options.
So as you can see, there's tons to explore at the Spice and Tea Exchange on Rehoboth Avenue in Rehoboth Beach, and you're gonna have to come back seasonally as well, because things do change pretty often around here.
Yeah,
well, Shannon, thank you so much. I'm gonna polish this off. If you're an apple cider lover, this is the tea for you. So I'm gonna do that. We're gonna take a quick break, but Coast Life is gonna be right back.
This segment of Coast Life was brought to you by the Spice and Tea Exchange of Rehoboth.
Leah, this was a fun show today.
This was a fun show today.
Yes, learned a lot, had some good laughs.
Yes.
A lot going on today.
And learned a lot on ways to help our community. I mean, we love helping out our community. And with the Heart Walk coming up, the Southern Delaware Heart Walk for the American Heart Association, that's a great way to do that. We talked to Joyce earlier today.
How sweet was she?
So sweet. I just so sorry for her loss, but we can still help raise money and raise awareness with the American Heart Association. She gave us these magnets.
How cute are these?
So if you're going for a walk today, maybe make a little sign, Team Bob. That's, you know, we're Team Bob.
Yes.
And if you do, just go for a walk. You can take a picture with this. I'm sure Joyce would love to see your support.
Yes. And you know, Joyce even said, if you listen back to the interview, she was like, do it while you walk to your mailbox, if that's all you want to do. While you walk your dog, you're gonna walk somewhere today, most likely. So just do a little Team Bob shout out. And of course, if you can donate money, that would be great too.
Or participate in the walk, which is coming up in 2 weeks.
Yeah, November 5th.
Yes.
So get ready. You have lots of time to get ready. So, but you know, Coast Life, of course, we want to keep you laughing and having fun all the time. But it is stories like this too that we just love to share, and we're so thankful for that. We can share these stories with the community.
Yeah. I mean, I think like you said in our interview with Joyce, that a lot of people unfortunately can relate to her story. But at the same time, it's also I think it's in those moments of heartbreak and hardship that we see the community come together to take care of one another.
Yes, and something really exciting. Some of you know his story, but Paul Williams, our chief meteorologist on Coast TV, he's going to be at the Heart Walk emceeing it.
That's right.
Which we found out today too. So just a lot of fun to be had. You know, even an hour ago, we were telling you of all the fun events coming up. So don't forget as well, we have Sea Witch coming up this weekend. Just a lot of fall fun to be had. That's right. Yes. A lot of Coast Life to be had too. So we'll be back